What's up guys, welcome to a slightly different format of video. I've looked through about 20 charts at this point and I'm going to share with you the top 4 that I think are best to trade for this week. Now, this weekly outlook is something that I do in my personal workflow every single week, usually on Sundays, to prepare myself for the upcoming week ahead. Basically what I do is I look at about 20 charts. This week is mostly crypto, but on most weeks I also look through traditional finance charts like Forex as well as the indices. And then from these charts, I basically do my analysis and rate them. And I usually split them up into 3 levels. And the way this works is that level 3 means that there is very likely going to be a high quality trade this week. Level 2 means that we have an idea of what price is setting up to do, but there are not enough conditions or not enough triggers to the point where we can say there's definitely going to be a trade this week. And then you have the level 1s where, price is doing its thing, it's not ready yet. That's it. And so your attention is going to be best focused on the level 3s, potentially the level 2s where you can keep it on your watch list, and then level 1s you can kind of just ignore. This is a process that I go through, and also the process that I teach the bootcamp students in order to systematize the whole trading outlook kind of process, because a lot of the times what people tend to do is they just go, they open up the charts or open up the watch list on any random day and they just pick the first chart that looks decent. And they wonder why they get really inconsistent results. This is the way you systematize it. And so I'm going to walk through my weekly outlook basically. Now, don't get me wrong, anything within level 2 or level 3 may be worth trading sometime during the week. It's just, in my opinion, much better to focus on the level 3s. Again, my opinion. And then level 2, keep an eye out. I will also give you the scenarios to where they will become trade ready. So I'm going to walk through all of these in this video. We're going to go through Kaito, BNB, BitTensor, Hyperliquid, Story, WIF, Solana, XRP, Algorand, Jupiter, Sui, Fartcoin, Pepe, and Virtuals. Basically, the really popular, really large cap coins. If there is a coin that is not on here and you would like to see me do it, feel free to drop it down in the comment section below. In fact, before we dive right into it, talk about news. This week we have news on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right? These are the news. This website is called Forex Factory. Feel free to check it out yourself. Essentially, what this tells us is that the best days to trade this week is going to be on these 3 days. Going back to the charts, Kaito, the reason that makes this trade ready is that, first of all, overall, the weekly bias is towards the upside. But right now, you have relatively equal lows, followed by a family gap right now. And you have just swept out the range highs. I believe that you're going to go for a range low sweep before trend continuation. And so sometime during this week, look for this daily family gap to get filled. Boom, and then look for price to head towards the relatively equal lows. I believe that this week the bias is going to be towards the downside. And then you have your family gap that gets filled. You may wick slightly below this, but overall the trend is still up. Just that for this week itself, this will be the level 3 trade opportunity. Next, we move into BNB. We have a weekly family gap that just got filled recently. And I think this week the bias is going to be pretty straightforward. It's going to go to the upside. So opening this next week, you may look for something. If price opens up in the weekly and it starts dipping lower, this is an opportunity for you to buy, riding the weekly expansion towards the upside, and then maybe a close. Target is going to be right here, and potentially even right here if we start getting a volatile week, although that highly depends on what Bitcoin does. Next up, we move into the next level 3 opportunity, BitTensor. Right now, you have just filled in this weekly family gap on the weekly chart. Overall, your bias is still towards the upside. As you can see right here, that is a change in state of delivery. Also another change in state of delivery right here. It's been very, very bullish. One of the most bullish charts in all of crypto. And if you get an opportunity, as the weekly open opens up, if you get any dips below it, you could even sweep out this low here. But any dips below the weekly open gives you an opportunity to ride BitTensor back to the upside and riding the weekly expansion and then to the close. Now there is a potential that I could be wrong on this and price actually just starts dipping, but at least looking at all of these 20 charts, this looks pretty nice for bullish continuation. Next up, we move into Hyperliquid. This is also very straightforward. It is currently on the Bybit chart at a new all-time high, and currently this is your change in state of delivery. You could also say this is your change in state of delivery, one of the most bullish charts in all of crypto, alongside BitTensor, showing really clear bullish direction. And so in this week, you want to look for price to open up, right? During the weekly open, you want to look for a dip somewhere to 34 or even 32 and ride the expansion higher. This is not a chart where you want to be fading. A lot of the times people be like, oh yeah, price is pumping so much now that, it cannot continue pumping. And yet in crypto, it can, especially in a bull market, it can blow your mind. This is a very important lesson in trading what the market is telling us and not what we want to see in the market or what we believe about the markets. You may believe that Hyperliquid is way too expensive, but this is not a supermarket. This is the financial markets. Something that can go up 100% can go another 1,000% from that point onwards. Right now, until market direction kind of shifts or like order flow shifts or there's starting to show weakness or whatever, you continue going long on this until proven otherwise. And so look for a retracement. Heck, you don't even need a retracement. In fact, we're even going to go onto the live chart just to, I'm basically just done this and then I'm recording it. So on the live chart, for example, right here, you have a weak low followed by a fair value gap. This will line up with a retracement into $32. Fill this level in and then boom, expansion to the upside. Alternatively, you could also just straight up go from here. Whatever the case, Hyperliquid is one of the clearest directional chart at the moment. And so that's what makes it a level 3. You will definitely get a A+ opportunity on these 4 charts, in my opinion, sometime during this week. Now we move on to the level 2, which is still setting up, but good to have on the watch list. This is where we are, for example, in the case of Story, the overall trend is towards the upside, right? But you have a bearish change in state of delivery, right? In the sense that this is a bearish order block, price breaks down, respects the bearish order block, and it breaks down again. And so right now, there is a reason to be bearish and also a reason to be bullish, in the sense that right now price is in a family gap. If you draw a fib from this low to this high right here, this level lines up with the 0.618, and also you have a bullish change in state of delivery from before, all the way from back then, and right now price is kind of retracing into this level before going up. So we have reasons to believe that this is bullish, but we also have reasons to believe this is bearish, and that's what makes it a level 2. The condition that you want to see for this week is that right now, as it currently stands, it's not ready to be traded towards the bullish direction yet. What you want to see is a break above this bearish order block right here, and to ultimately flip it into a bullish order block, and that is your trigger to start taking this trade towards the long direction. Next up, we move into WIF. WIF, you have a balanced price range on the weekly chart where you have 2 family gaps being aligned with each other, and you have a bullish weekly bias. So it wouldn't be surprising if you started this week heading lower and then potentially having a upside move after that. Now, do not expect there to be such a huge V-shaped recovery. Like, chances are, maybe this week, this will be the directional trade for the week, and then next week you will get the V-shaped recovery. Again, we're looking at the weekly chart and the daily chart here, so things will take time to play out. Alternatively, you could also just find support here and start going up from this point onwards. Overall, because the weekly bias is bullish, you can take this setup right here where you just start going up, target being the current, or rather the previous weekly high. So again, this will be the ideal setup here, but then you also have a possible momentum trade. That's what makes WIF maybe level 2, but I would say WIF, out of all of the level 2s, is remaining one of the stronger level 2s. It's probably, you could argue that it's a level 3 setup. So Solana is also in an interesting position because just this last week, right? This is the last week's candle. This is on the daily chart, by the way. You have filled in the weekly fair value gap, bullish fair value gap, and at the same time also taken out the previous weekly high. So with everything said, bias should be towards the upside, but there is also, like, the target has kind of been hit already. So we're clear on the direction, but we may not be so clear on the target. So in this case, I'm going to put it just slightly, I'm going to grade this slightly lower, in the sense that this right here is going to be your order block that price is currently retracing into. If price starts showing a willingness to go to the upside, this could be a potential level 3 opportunity. In fact, originally, before I started recording this video, Solana was actually at level 3. So WIF and Solana are both like really strong level 2s. You just need to make sure that the market is showing willingness to go to the upside. If it does, then previous weekly high. And let me see if there are any other potential targets for Solana, because there definitely will be. Like right here, you have all of these previous weekly highs here at $200. Are you going to go to $200 this week? I have no idea. Only thing I'm doing here is telling you the direction and the setup that you can take if the direction is indeed bullish. Next up, we move into XRP, where this is a weak level 2, in the sense that price is really just ranging around. You can say it's bearish, you can say it's bullish, I don't know. It's kind of just setting up. The only setup that I can see possible here is that from this daily family gap, you want to kind of like sweep into here and start bouncing upwards. But honestly, XRP, like, your attention is much better spent, focusing on the others. So for that reason, I'm actually going to throw XRP down to level 1, because this is, I don't know why I put that. I have no idea why I put this here in the first place. I'm going to move this later. I have no idea how to use that shit. Oh, that's how you use it. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, you can see I'm not really much of a systems guy, just a creative, recording the videos kind of guy. So Algorand, also level 2, because we have this liquidity sweep right here in an overall uptrend that we're looking for. If this happens, there is still a couple of other confirmations needed in order to confirm that we are indeed bullish, because once you sweep this low, depending on how low you go, you may form relatively equal lows. That's why this is not a level 3. Directional bias wise, it's pretty clear, but I think next week this will be a level 3. Don't get me wrong, you can still find a very high quality trade this week on Algorand. It's just, compared to the other charts that we've seen so far, this does not make it a level 3. Next up, we have Jupiter. Now, Jupiter, on the weekly chart, you have a potential breaker block. The reason I say potential is because price actually needs to start going up to validate it as a weekly breaker block. Breaker block, by the way, means that you flip bearish order block, right? Price trades above the order block, and it comes down to flip it as potential support and go up. Right now, you're in that phase of flipping it into potential support. That's why it's still potential, but the potential is definitely there. And this week, what you want to look for, this is also a strong level 2, where you want to look for price to come into this bullish favorite gap and then ride the momentum higher. In fact, I have no idea why I did put this at level 3, but still, this is very worth looking at. We're going to put this as, let's say, level 2.5, right? Not a 3, but definitely a strong level 2. Next up, we look at Sui. Sui is definitely a level 2 in the sense that there is reason to believe that it could be bearish. There is also reason to believe that it could be bullish. Bullish because so far it has been bullish, but recently you have bearish changes there. Delivery, some people can say that this is just a retracement, which is true. Overall, if the trend is like this, then price can do whatever between this low and this high. It can go up, down, inside, left, right, whatever. As long as you do not break this low, you are still good in terms of the daily chart to go for further upside. So the condition for further upside is you want to see price break above this bearish order block. Again, turn this into a breaker block, come down, flip it into support and go up. That's what makes this a level 2. I don't think you have that kind of bullish opportunity this week, but next week, like if this week, this is what happens, then next week, 100%, you will get that opportunity. Until that happens, assume that because you are in a bearish retracement kind of phase at the moment, that you will come back up, retest this, and then get rejected, and then head towards these lows right here. Because even if you were to retrace, like on a higher time frame, right, in terms of the weekly chart, pardon the nose, guys, a little bit sick. If you retrace back into the zone right here, on the higher time frames, weekly chart, you are still bullish. And so that, like, nothing changes about the overall trend. Don't say that the bull market is over or whatever. If you retrace back into this area, you can still go higher. Next up, we move into Fartcoin. And Fartcoin is also, for example, right here, you have relatively equal lows. The only thing that makes this a level 2, even though I'm drawing these arrows, is that I don't know if price is going to go up from this order block here, or if it's going to sweep out the relatively equal lows, fill in the fair value gap right here, as well as the bullish order block before going to the upside. Overall, though, the trend is pretty clearly to the upside. You just want to look for, areas where you can buy into Fartcoin to ride the wave higher. The only thing that makes this level 2 is that I don't know if it's going to be this one or this one, but this makes this also a strong level 2, and you can keep a solid eye out for this one, put it on your watch list. Next up, we have PP. The only reason why this is level 2 is because even though we have a clear fair value gap identified here, we haven't filled it yet. And so this week, the setup is super clear. This also makes this a very strong level 2, meaning you want to look for price to, let's say the weekly close is here, which also means the next weekly candle is going to open here. Look for a retracement down into specifically this area here at 0.00012. And if you hit this level right here, that is also a daily fair value gap within a weekly fair value gap. And so if you get that, then weekly open, low, that's a buy low opportunity, so you can ride it higher, and weekly close. Lastly, let's look at virtuals. Virtuals on the, this is just level 1, so don't even bother with this. If you have a chart that you would like me to look through, I will find some time to look through it throughout the week. But overall, let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this format. Am I going too quick? Does this help you to narrow your focus down to a few charts that is maybe worth looking at more than others? And of course, throughout the rest of the week, we're going to be back with the Bitcoin kind of videos. It's just during the weekend, this is what I do on a personal level, just to mark out charts, just to prepare myself for the market ahead, so I know what to focus on. And just took 15 minutes to share it with you guys. And yeah, let me know in the comment section below. But otherwise, if you would like to work one-on-one with me, where I implement these systems for you to make your trading systematic and consistent, you can click the first link in the description box below to check out Bootcamp. But otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.